Hello everyone, and welcome back to our channel. Today, we are diving into a developing story that's making waves both locally and internationally. Allegations that economic freedom fighters, EFF, leader Julius Malema is under scrutiny by none other than the United States Secret Service. The report suggests that Malema's outspoken comments about former US President Donald Trump and tech billionaire Elon Musk may have triggered concerns in Washington. While the full details remain murky, the mere suggestion that a South African political figure could be on the radar of a major U.S. intelligence agency has sparked intense debate across the political spectrum. Now, let's unpack this story and explore what it really means for South Africa, its politics, and its place on the global stage. It all started with claims circulating online and in media circles that Julius Malema's fiery rhetoric, particularly his public criticism of Donald Trump and Elon Musk, may have been perceived as threatening. According to these unverified reports, U.S. security agencies took note of Malema's defiant statements, possibly interpreting them as hostile or dangerous. The allegations suggest that the Secret Service, which is tasked with protecting high-profile U.S. figures, including presidents and former presidents, is closely monitoring Malema. However, no official statement has been released by the U.S. government confirming the surveillance, and that alone raises serious questions. Let's put this into perspective. Julius Malema has never been one to hold back. His political messaging is confrontational by design. He has built his brand as a radical advocate for economic freedom and social justice, often using bold, provocative language to call out what he sees as injustices, both within South Africa and abroad. He has publicly challenged Elon Musk, a South African-born tech mogul, for his criticism of the controversial struggle song "Kill the Boer," which Malema and his supporters argue is symbolic of resistance rather than a literal incitement to violence. Musk, on the other hand, described the song as hateful, igniting backlash from Malema and others who accuse Musk of misrepresenting South African history for political gain. Then there's Donald Trump, who in 2018 made global headlines by tweeting that the South African government was seizing land from white farmers. Malema, who has long supported land expropriation without compensation, hit back hard. He accused Trump of trying to paint South Africa as a failed state and called on the US to stay out of African affairs. In response, he made several public remarks, including posts on social media, in which he dared Trump and Musk to label him an international criminal. It's these very statements that some believe may have crossed a line, drawing the attention of US authorities. But here's where things get complicated. As of now, there is no hard evidence to support claims that Malema is under any formal investigation by the Secret Service. No case has been opened, no arrest warrant has been issued, and no official diplomatic complaint has been made public. So why are these rumors gaining traction? One theory is that the claims are part of a broader narrative aimed at discrediting Malema, a politician who remains a thorn in the side of both the ruling ANC and the political establishment more broadly. Others suggest that even if there's no formal case, it wouldn't be unusual for international intelligence agencies to quietly monitor foreign leaders whose statements could influence global public opinion or threaten diplomatic stability. Either way, the implications are serious. If it's true that Malema is being watched by a foreign intelligence service simply for expressing his political views, then that raises fundamental concerns about sovereignty and freedom of speech. Is it acceptable for a South African leader to be monitored by a foreign power for defending national pride or challenging Western narratives? Does this signal a dangerous precedent where outspoken African voices are silenced under the guise of national security? On the other hand, if the story has been exaggerated, or worse, fabricated, then that's equally troubling. It could indicate a campaign to undermine Malema's credibility, portraying him as a dangerous radical rather than a legitimate political leader. In this context, even the circulation of such claims, without evidence, can damage reputations and fuel mistrust among citizens. It plays into a larger game of geopolitical perception, where the language and tone of African leaders are closely scrutinized, while Western figures are often given more leeway in global discourse. There's also a racial and historical undercurrent to this debate. Malima represents a segment of South African society that remains deeply frustrated with the lingering inequalities of apartheid and the slow pace of economic transformation. His supporters see him as a voice for the voiceless, someone who refuses to bow to global powers or wealthy elites. When he lashes out at figures like Musk or Trump, it's not just personal, it's symbolic. It's a rejection of the idea that Africa should always remain silent in the face of Western criticism. The controversy also opens up a larger discussion about how international actors engage with South African politics. Over the years, South Africa has become a focal point for debates around land reform, economic justice, and post-colonial identity. Global voices, from conservative commentators in the US to tech billionaires with massive followings, often weigh in on South African affairs, sometimes without a full understanding of the historical and social context. Leaders like Malima see this as interference, and they push back, sometimes harshly, sometimes recklessly, but always unapologetically. At the heart of this debate is a question that every South African should consider: are we comfortable with foreign powers determining which of our leaders are considered dangerous or acceptable? Shouldn't that judgment be left to the South African people and their democratic institutions? There's also a need to interrogate the media's role in amplifying these claims. Sensational headlines, anonymous sources, and speculative commentary can do real damage if not backed by facts. In an era of information overload, we must be careful not to mistake noise for news. That includes holding both local and international media to higher standards of accountability. In conclusion, the allegation that Julius Malema is under surveillance by the US Secret Service remains speculative at best. But the conversation it has triggered is deeply important. It forces us to think critically about our role in the global community, the limits of free expression, and the fine line between patriotism and provocation. Whether or not the claims are true, they serve as a reminder that in the age of global politics, even a tweet from a South African leader can ripple all the way to Washington. Thank you for watching. If you found this video informative, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to our channel. Your support helps us continue bringing you sharp, honest political commentary from a South African perspective. What do you think? Is this surveillance story real, or just political smoke and mirrors? Let us know in the comments below. Until then, stay informed, stay critical, and as always, see you next time.